Today we're going to be talking about what employees expect from their supervisors and managers. So in this article, I have two articles to refer to. This one is called What Great Bosses Know About FaceTime and Feedback. It says that a good boss knows that they have to try to meet with their employees on a regular basis to try to give them evaluations so that they know how well they're doing and then maybe they could better perform. Because it says that a motivational factor is that people do want to be better at their jobs or what they're doing, and that by giving them feedback, it gives them a little bit of pride in what they're doing. So it also says that giving feedback should be a regular thing and not just just should be on a regular basis. Not that every once in a while you come and talk to them, but they would like to have it so that they can judge themselves off of your feedback, right? Okay.
So not just the bad times when you notice an employee doing something bad, but also give them encouragement, like mention the good things you see them doing.
Yeah. And so the other article, it says why managers should spend exactly 6 hours a week with each employee. Well, it's not actually saying that you need to spend 6 hours with this employee. It's just saying that you need to make time to chat with these people. And it says that when managers do give their employees feedback, they become more interested or inspired in their work, and they're more interested in doing the job well. And also the people who work from home, you shouldn't dismiss that they should not get any feedback. You should also make time for them as well. So in the book,
because people aren't machines.
right. Have to make sure that you give them the feedback so that they are functioning properly.
Well, it's important
So
they know your
standard.
expectations.
Okay, so here is a list of expectations of a supervisor or a manager. These are what employees expect that their manager would do. So the first is that it says supervisors should be trying to improve their general environment and environmental conditions in which they work. So I guess making sure that your organization has all the things just to have it functioning properly.
Yeah, I don't want to go in the powder room. There's no toilet paper.
Yeah, and they talked about that in here too.
Darn tootin'.
Man, I think he wrote this book.
I want the bathroom to be clean, please.
Okay. So the second, employees feel their supervisors should resolve any or all personnel disputes. And third, it says they feel that their salaries are in a large part determined by their supervisor. So the supervisor needs, if their salary needs improvement, it's the supervisor's duty to try to adjust that. So these are expectations of the supervisor, right? Fourth is subordinates expect their supervisor to have a sympathetic ear to their individual needs and concerns. Fifth, subordinates expect their supervisors to be the keeper of standards. 6, subordinates feel their supervisors should be responsible for coping with sexual harassment allegations and or racial ethnic tensions might arise in the work environment. I guess that's just saying have a level of political correctness. 7th, subordinates feel their supervisors are directly responsible for their own personal growth and development in the organization. And and that's by like giving them feedback. 8, supervisors are expected to maintain good working relationships with those above them so that good things come down the chain. 9th, subordinates expect managers to be up to date on all the innovative methods in the field, and particularly innovations that might improve their jobs. 10, subordinates expect supervisors to maintain a good image and profile with persons outside the organization. And yeah, that is the last one. Now, what I think the 2 principles that are relevant to the articles, the 2 articles that I just read, is that the 5th principle is that the supervisor should be the keeper of standards. So employees expect evaluations. They expect to know that they are doing well and that they should be rewarded for doing their job well. But also on the other spectrum, that I think they would expect that anyone who is doing bad or horribly should be, reprimanded. So if somebody is doing well, they get awarded or rewarded. The person who is doing badly.
Well, you don't jump to reprimanding someone. You jump to teaching them or showing them how it could be done.
But I mean, this would give some
improve
them a level of satisfaction. If I'm doing well, I want to be rewarded for it. But if somebody who's not doing as well as me or is doing really badly, I mean, they shouldn't just be able to just keep going along with it. I mean,
well, it's not like you reprimand them right away, though. You try and teach them how to do what you want them to do before you.
Well, I mean, you can't just tell that somebody's doing badly unless you're actually watching them do it, right?
Well, how do you know
it's
they're
over
doing
time.
badly,
I'm
then?
not saying that at this point this person needs to be reprimanded, but over time you can't tell.
Before you reprimand them.
You can't tell that somebody's doing well unless you actually watch them perform.
Well,
So,
they're
I
doing
mean, you
bad.
go to-
I mean, you can like work with them,
Right.
try to get them better.
Yeah.
If that don't work.
So I mean,
And then that doesn't work. I mean,
of
there's
course,
stages.
there's steps that
yeah.
you have to take to do that,
But the first one
if
isn't
there's people
reprimanding, jumping in
who are
somebody's
being
grill.
rewarded for doing their job well, I mean, there's also people who should be reprimanded or fired if they're doing their job bad or horribly.
Yeah, but that's always incremental.
I'm not saying everybody has to be fired just because they've gotten
Well, like you said, first you try and work with them and help them
right.
be a
I mean,
better,
there's
improve
steps
their.
that you have to take, but
Right.
these are what employees would expect their supervisors to take action on if
Yeah, but I
that was
heard
going on.
really expectations are not a good thing.
But I mean, you can't say that if someone was to do badly just to
I've
keep
heard
trying to
something
train
like-
them. You train them, you train them, you give them more and more
Expectations
chances.
are disappointments waiting to happen.
But that's the standard. If there's a standard, you have to follow, at least make the minimum standard to stay within that company.
Well, yeah.
So, yeah, if they don't make the standard over time, you can't just keep trying to train them and they just won't get it. You would have to do something to let them know that this is the severity of it. That
Right.
you haven't reached the standard or you haven't maintained the standard.
But you gotta try to work with them first.
Yeah, but over time.
Yeah, but we both need help on the job, Bruno. We don't want to just get kicked to the curb. We need some
Well, like I
additional
said,
training.
Like I said, you're going to keep investing time on this person. If they don't get it, there's steps that you have to take to try to get them to know how to do the job better or get them out of there. Because
Yeah,
I
but
won't
there's
want to keep
also a
wasting my
fine line in
time.
business when you have somebody there that's proven themselves a pretty good employee, and then you change something in the company and they don't quite get it. You gotta still. There's something
Well,
about
those are
seniority
different- those are
too.
different-
Seniority plays
those
a
are
heavy
different
factor
situations.
into all this stuff that you're talking about. That's a primary thing: is how much seniority do they have vested with the company. If they're a
But
brand
even
new
if you have
employee.
seniority, even if you have some seniority, this can only go on for so long. You
Right.
can't keep investing time and money into this person
Well,
who keeps
seniority means a lot
being-
though.
under par.
Yeah, but if they've got a lot of time there and had good evaluations in the past and been a good employee and then, okay, that's, okay.
Okay, on to the next.
Yeah, moving right along.
The other principle I think is relevant to this, to these articles is that that the employees expect the supervisors to be responsible for their own personal growth. They want to be able to grow within the company, and they expect that the supervisors would try to get them there. That their goal is to also help them be successful, not only for myself success, but to try to help everyone under
And
me
the
be
people
successful.
advance.
Yes. And the 10th one I think is relevant. It says they expect the manager to maintain a good image. I mean, in the article it was talking about how the employees want feedback from the manager because if you were a horrible manager, you would not want to really have feedback from this guy. You would just, you'd probably try to keep your distance if you didn't really respect this person's opinion of you. So why would you want them to have feedback on your performance? So I guess it says the manager wants to maintain a good image, or should maintain a good image. That this person is representing us, and so if I expect him to represent me, if I expect him to give me feedback, I would want him to be somebody who I respect.
I heard something interesting when I was down in Oregon. My friend's daughter has a pretty good job with AT&T or something, and her position is retention, and that means keeping current customers. That's what she tries to do, is make sure she keeps all the customers they have, so that they have good public relations. And she works in retention. I've never heard that before.
She works in retention.
Retaining customers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's making good money doing it too. And she's a young pup. You're doing a fine job, Boonway. Fine job.
You're not supposed to be saying this stuff. I'm recording.
You can edit me out.
We're not going to edit. So it's also asking us to discuss how it would affect an employee if the manager is perpetually unavailable, right? So in chapter 3 they were talking about immediacy. Immediacy being that the person or the manager or the supervisor is an approachable type, that you speak to somebody in a way that they feel that you're interested or concerned about their concerns. And
It's important not to be condescending.
okay, yeah. And so they're saying when you show immediacy, it's you're solidifying your relationship with these employees, and they become not only just employees, but they want to work for you, and they want to work for you better, and they want to be better for the company and stuff like that. So in this instance, when they're talking about,
If you want to be treated important, you better treat everybody else like they're important too.
and when the manager is perpetually unavailable, it makes them seem like the manager is just unavailable. I don't want to approach you because maybe you just don't have time for me, or maybe you just don't care.
It doesn't send out good signals.
Right. And and they also bring up the Peter Principle on how availability or accessibility is influenced by that. And when they were talking about the Peter Principle, they were talking about
Say that fast 10 times.
Peter Principle. They were talking about how a person who was good at their job at one point had been promoted, and because they did that job well, they were promoted again. Well, they haven't gotten the skill set to be promoted to that next level, and so at a certain point they fail at their job, and so they're just not able to do their job well enough anymore. And so I think what they're saying in this instance is that people get to a certain position in their job or in that organization, and they become less adapt to working in that position, and they become less immediate to the other personnel because they're so involved in what they have to deal with, like maybe administrative wise, that they don't really have time to be interacting with other employees. So the Peter Principle is people who have gotten to a certain level where they're starting to fail in that position, and so to try to balance that part, I mean, the most immediate part is doing all the administrative stuff, and then maybe put people or your interactions with the people on the back burner because you just don't have time for that because you're dealing with other things.
Mm-hmm. You're overwhelmed in your position
Right.
with your own responsibilities and duties and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Time to get an assistant.
That's just not a good principle for an individual.
Well, it's not that they're trying to do that intentionally. I think it's just that they have just gotten to a position where they cannot do their job well enough anymore, so they have to like put stuff onto the side. I'll deal with this later until I can figure this out. When I figure this out, then maybe I can deal with this, and maybe that just never comes around. So that's the Peter Principle, is that they have just gotten to a level where they just can't handle their job anymore and they're failing at it. And that's where communication is being less effective.
That principle sucks.
They're not saying that it's a guideline. It's just something that just happens eventually. That they have to do that for. They have to put the people on the back burner.
Well, then it's time for them to get assistant because they got too much work. Probably.
I agree. I mean, in like a lot of the jobs that I've had, management has always been kind of like the administrators, and then supervisors are just immediate management to these people. They have to deal with these problems, and if we have to take it to the next level, I mean, only when necessary we take it to the next level, because we know that upper level management has to deal with all these paperwork and getting people signed off on vacations and stuff like that. I mean, that all the paperwork and stuff comes first, I think, just to be able to take care of their people in a certain way, and being immediate with them.
Yeah, people would be upset if they didn't get their paychecks on time.
Right. So I mean, you would have to put going FaceTime with these people just to be able to, satisfy their other needs first, because I think maybe FaceTime might be just not a big priority at the time.
Or just have a staff meeting and see everybody at the same time. That's probably why they have staff meetings. So just everybody gets all corralled in the same place, you get to see everybody.
Mm-hmm.